think we might still be waiting on Anne Henry. So it's 9:30, Your Worship, if you wanted to start the meeting.
Thank Carolyn. Good morning, councillors, staff. I'm not too sure we've got any members of the public here. So welcome to this council meeting C22/2. We have no apologies. So just reminding everybody, we're on live streaming, and just be careful on what you say, because others may take exception to it, and you have no legal privilege. There are no late items. Are there any declarations of interest that anybody may have? It appears not. We have no request for the public forum, so I'll pass it across to Chris Nepier to open the meeting with a karakia, please, Chris.
Tēnā koe te koromatua. I mua I te tuku karakia ka whakaaro ake ki tērā o ngā rangatira, kua ngaro I te tirohanga kanuhi, ara ko Mona Jackson, I runga I tōna mahi rongonui, mo te hunga Māori, o tira mō tātou o te ao whānui nei o Aotearoa. Anō reira kei te rangatira, o tira rātou kua ngaro atu I te pō, moi mai, oki atu. Hui anō māku I te karakia hei whakatū whera tō tātou hui, nō reira kei noi tātou. Kia tau ngā manaakitanga te mea ngaro ki runga ki tēnā o tātou. Kia mahia te hua mā kihi, kia toi te kupu, toi te mana, toi te aroha, kia tūturu, kia whakamaua, kia tīna, haungi hui e tai. Your Worship, as always, I'll provide the transcript for that kōrero for the minutes to be noted. Kia ora.
Thank you very much, and note the reference to the passing of Dr. Moana, a great citizen for New Zealand and a significant loss to the nation. We now move into the agenda proper. I'll take pages 8 to 39, which is the Community Board minutes for receipt. Can somebody please give me a move and a second? Anne Henry, Mark Dean. If there's no discussion, I'll put that. All those in favour, please say aye. Against, no. I declare that carried. We now move to page 52, which is the minutes of the Performance and Monitoring Committee held on 10th of February. Do I have a move and a second for that, please? Councillor Thwaites, Councillor Granger. There's no discussion. I'll put that. All those in favour, please say aye. Against, no. I declare that carried. I now move to page 62, the minutes of the council meeting held on the 24th of February 22. I'll move those. Do I have a seconder, please? Councillor Murray Benge. I'll put that. All those in favour, please say aye. Against, no. I declare that carried. We now move to page 76, which is the District Plan Committee held on the 24th of February. A move and a seconder for that, please. Councillor Murray Benge, Councillor Scrimger. I'll put that. All those in favour, please say aye. Against, no. Carried. I declare that carried. Page 80, the annual plan and the long-term plan minutes of March of 8. A move and a seconder for that, please. Councillor Scrimger, Councillor Denia. I'll put that. All those in favour, please say aye. Against no, I declare that carried. We now move to page 86, which is the minutes of the Policy Committee held on the 10th of March. I'll move that. Do I have a seconder, please? Thank you, Councillor Gray. I'll put that. All those in favour, please say aye. Against no, I declare that carried. We now move to page 98, which is the delegations for making the decisions on the 2022 Community Matching Fund. Are there any questions of staff on that? It would appear not. Can I have a move and a seconder for those recommendations there, and whether it's 3A or 3B, please? Councillor Dean, are you moving 3A and 3B? Thank you. A seconder, please. Margaret Murray-Beans, thank you. I'll put that. All those in favour, please say aye. Against no, I declare that carried. We now move to page 101, which is the facilities in the community fund there. Are there any questions of staff? We need to put some names in there against the different wards who are going to adjudicate on that. I'm not too sure last time, I think it was, can you help me here, Caroline, who it was? Margaret Murray-Beans was from Kaimai Ward.
Yes, I do apologise. I don't have the names from last year in front of me, Your Worship, at this point.
Are we comfortable with using the same people as last time around?
Yes.
No, I would like to suggest that the same people we were nominated in the last point be appointed, because they will know what has been given there and can judge and juggle between the two.
Yeah, thank you, Councillor Granger. That makes sense. So it's using the same people that were appointed last time round. A seconder for that, please. Councillor Sol. There's no further discussion. I'll put that. All those in favour, please say aye. Against no. I declare that carried. We now move to page 104, which is the upcoming elections, the order of the candidates' names. There's a recommendation 1, 2 in there. Is there anybody want to recommend anything in part 3 there? Councillor Denyer, do you want to move or make a comment?
I'll move that we go with the random order.
So that's 3, second bullet point.
Third bullet point, sorry.
So that's 1, 2, and 3. C, I'll call it, if everybody's comfortable with that. Do I have a seconder, please? Anne Henry. If there's no discussion, I'll put that. All those in favour, please say aye. Against no, I declare that carried. Thank you, Barbara. We now move to page 114, which is the emissions trading options. We've had a letter in from the group there saying, do we want to support them? Does anybody want to move any particular recommendation there? Which is around deleting the exotic forests from the emissions trading scheme. Councillor Dean and Councillor Denyer.
I did want, sorry.
Yes,
I did want to clarify what the exceptions were under option 3. Do we know that?
No, well, it's included in that letter there, and it's still being worked through by the wider group. So in essence, what it's saying, we'll go with the flow. Grant Daly, you want to comment or a question?
Yeah, just like to ask a question. I'm just wondering, I'm not an expert in this subject, but I'm just wondering what the implications for Pani Point, if the 5 Hapu Collective decide to replant in exotic forestry, if this would mean, what this would mean for them in the future.
With all due respect, this will be a nationwide decision. It won't be specific to any particular point. So we've got to go with what's best for the nation, what we think, rather than specifying it for individual forests. Deputy Mayor Scrimger, you have a question? You're on mute, John.
Yeah, if I could, I was just going to make a comment in response to Councillor Daly. I'm certainly not an expert either in this field, but I do know a bit. And one of the issues with exotic forests is that you can accumulate the credits and then you have to pay them back when you harvest the forest, and then you accumulate them again. So it's not as big a deal as it might sound to be deleting them from the ETS.
Councillor Murray-Benge, you have a question? You're muted, Margaret. You're still muted, Margaret.
Sorry, I've got you on my phone and I've got the agenda on my iPad, so I'm a bit stupid with operating it today, sir. I'm sorry. What was wrong with the option, the status quo? Could someone answer that for me?
Basically, it's the letter on the other side. If you recall, we agreed to join this group and,
Yes.
and to be a supporter. So basically, it's in line with what we've agreed is where they're coming from.
Right.
And you've all had access to the website or the webinars that Lawrence Yule has been holding. So going back, we've got Councillor Dean and Denia mover and seconder. Which option were you going for there?
Option 3.
Option 3.
Yeah.
But there's 3. Yeah. Okay. So I'll put that. All those in favour, please say aye. Against, no. I declare that carried. And Carolyn, did you get that it's option 3 at the bottom of the recommendation panel?
Yes, I did, Your Worship. Yes.
Thank you very much. We now move to page 117, which is the recommendations, the Mayor's report on the Anzac Day. The only thing that's changed since this paper was written is the Defence Force have withdrawn from most Anzac parades around New Zealand. The implication for us in particular with that is the Tauranga ceremony or civic ceremony that is going to be held this year will be extremely different because all of the Defence Forces, St John's, have also advised they will not be attending that. So Commission Chair Tolly's had a word to me is, could her and I jointly host a very small civic ceremony with no morning tea or anything like that after it. So the Tauranga thing will be a very different ceremony this year to previous years. Are there any questions? We've got Mark Dean and Margaret Murray-Benge.
Mr. Chairman, I just would like to point out that Oropi Hall is going to have their own Anzac service. They've had it now for 5 years running. This will be the 6th year, and it is attended by about 75 to 80 people in normal times, but hopefully they'll be able to have the same attendance this time.
Yeah, thank you for that comment. Councillor Murray-Benge. You're on mute still, Margaret.
That better?
Yes, thank you.
Right. Knowing the great variety of people who go to Memorial Park, I think you should plan for really quite a big service, Gary. I just don't think that it's going to be all that small. People want to be there, even without the Defence Force.
I accept that, and that's why Anne's decided to continue on regardless. So it'll be a council-run ceremony this year rather than a Defence Force run ceremony. Councillor Daly, you have a question?
Mayor Webber, Christine Clement of the Te Puke Hall Memorial Hall Society has expressed disappointment that you won't be able to attend the Te Puke Anzac Day service this year, and going to Tauranga instead. But I guess there's nothing to be done about that. But she asked me to pass that on.
except that over the last 6 years, I've attended more in in Te Puke and Makatu than anywhere else. I can't be everywhere at one place. If they could spread their times with a 2-hour gap between the two, so we start at 6 in the morning and finish at 8 at night, I could do them all. I think what we also need to be mindful of is that many communities in this day and age are starting to run their own. And I think looking at the recommendations there, I suggest we do the same as we did last year, which is the council laws from the relevant areas, make sure they attend as many as they can, and amongst yourselves, work out who will be the, or how you take the wreath up if there's going to be a wreath laying part. Council staff will organise the wreaths, and between now and the 25th, we'll be in touch with you as to where that goes. So have I got a move and a seconder for the recommendations there? Even recommendation 7, Margaret, you're more than welcome to attend the Tauranga Anzac Day, whatever that turns out to be. So we've got Alan Soul moving and Mark Dean seconding.
Mr. Chairman, I just wanted to ask another question.
Oh, sorry.
Would it be possible for the Oropi ceremony to also have a wreath provided by the council? There's 5 already provided, but this is quite a significant area and having quite a large ceremony, really.
Well, if you want to move an amendment to the recommendation that the recommendation 8 that a wreath is sent it to Oropi.
I will so move an amendment. Thank you.
Right. Do I have a seconder for that, please? Councillor Thwaites. Given that it's now 1 to 8, including Oropi, Carolyn, and it's moved, Dean seconded Thwaites. I'll put that. All those in favour, please say aye. Against, no. I declare that carried. Thank you very much.
Yep, got that.
On page 119, we now move to the Botlas half-yearly report. James, are you on the screen there somewhere? Are there any questions of staff? It's basically a formality. We've just got to receive it, but if there's any questions.
Yeah, just noting the report, Mr. Mayor, that that the Botlas are looking for any feedback on this draft statement of intent. It's part of their CCO legislation, but other than that, open for questions or any feedback we can feedback.
Well, I'll go off the deep end. My only comment is when is Botlas going to start looking at the big issues? You know, central government are stepping in around amalgamation. If Botlas had actually started doing this stuff 5 or 6 years ago on a regional basis, as recommended, it might be different. And I don't know when they're going to start looking at some of this shared services, you know, back office and all of that sort of thing. But we've been saying, this council's been saying that for 10 years that I'm aware of. They don't appear to want to listen, but I don't know how we change it.
Only thing to add to that, Mr. Mayor, is a coalition of the willing there.
Yeah, thank you. Councillor Thwaites, you have a comment?
Yeah, I would comment on that because that what you point out is intensely political and it shouldn't be led by Botlas. It should be led by the mayors of the Bay of Plenty. So to palm it off and blame Botlas for that not occurring is not the way I see it. Like I said, that is intensely political driven and it must be led by the mayors who have a clear idea of where they're going.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions? I think we can have a move and a seconder for receipt of that, please. Recommendations 1 to 5 on page 119. Councillor Soul, Councillor Henry. I'll put that. All those in favour, please say aye. Against, no. I declare that carried. We now move to page 148, which is the recommendatory report from the policy on the adoption of the waste management minimisation bylaw. This is just a recommendatory report. Hopefully there's not many questions, but if there are, we're open to them now. There appears not. Alan Sol, is that a question or are we going to move it?
I was going to move, sir.
Thank you. Do I have a seconder, please? Councillor Murray Bean, or was that a question, Margaret? All right. We have it moved. Councillor Sol, Councillor Murray Bean. There's no discussion. I'll put that. All those in favour, please say aye. Against, no. I declare that carried. We now move to page 186, which is the recommendatory report from the Policy Committee, the adoption of the alcohol bylaw. Margaret, you have your hand up for, is that a question or? You're on mute still, Margaret, sorry.
I'm moving the recommendations.
Right, thank you. Do I have a seconder, please?
Second.
Councillor Henry. If there's no discussion, I'll put that. All those in favour, please say aye. Against, no. I declare that carried. We now move to page 205, which is the recommendatory report from Te Kahui Mana Whenua o Tauranga Moana. Are there any questions of staff on that? Margaret, is that a historic hand or a question?
It is an historic hand, and I just I can't help but regret that I love the way we all work together, and with them going in two separate forums, we're sort of going backwards a little. I hope that's not the case, but I all felt that when we're all around the table, it made such good sense.
Thank you for that, but it's unfortunately what Tangata Whenua have asked us to do, so we've gone with the flow. Chris Napier, do you want to comment?
Thank you, Worship. Just on that point, Councillor Murray Beach, there is provision within the terms of reference of both forums that they have an annual summit where they come together with all of the members to look over joint issues. So there is the provision within the terms to be able to do that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do we have a mover and a seconder for that, please? Councillor Sol, Councillor Daly, has that a hand up for a question or a seconder?
Seconder.
Yeah, I did want to ask a question if possible before you move it. Just bearing in mind, just in response to Chris's comment there, I was just wondering if it would be possible maybe to have a summit before the end of this triennium of the two groups.
Most definitely, it's got to be, you know, the provision is there to have one a year, and we'll likely get one before the next triennium. Rachel, you might want to comment on that.
Can I, if you don't mind, I will. I think we need to be careful that we're not forcing people to be in a room together that don't want to be in a room together. Okay, so while we feel like it might have gone backwards, we're actually going to be more productive working with the individual groups on the things that they are passionate about, rather than worrying about internal politics or politics across EWE, if you like. So actually, we think it'll be a more productive forum and we'll get things done.
And I think if you read what's happening in Rotorua, we're better to let Tangata Whenua to let us know what they think is appropriate, and we go with the flow. So I have a mover in Councillor Murray Beans. Do I have a seconder, please? Councillor Henry. I'll put that. All those in favour, please say aye. Against, no. I declare that carried. We now move to page 221, which is the documents under seal. A mover and a seconder for that, please. Councillor Granger, Councillor Denia. I'll put that. All those in favour, please say aye. We now have the Tourism Bay of Plenty draft statement on page 227. Are there any questions of staff? And we have David Pierce here to answer any questions if there are any. Murray Granger.
Thank you, Your Worship. I raised the issue in Executive Forum last time, I think, about the very poor booklet that was produced by the Tourism Bay of Plenty with regard to the cycleways and the lack of cooperation and input from our from Western Bay into that and the mistakes therein. It's just a shame that they have done such a very poor job on that. Thanks.
And David has had a word to them about that particular situation following our meeting. Thank you. Councillor Murray-Benge?
Can you hear me?
Yes, thank you.
Right. My phone says I'm on mute, but anyway, glad you can hear me. This is a very complex and complicated report that they've given. I note that they're going to go up in price to 242,000. Weren't we giving much less than that just a couple of years ago, Gary?
This is their budget. Our contribution is less than that, my understanding. So this is the total budget on how they will spend their money. How it's funded is on the income line.
Yeah, I've got that. But our contribution seems to be quite a bit more than what we have been given before. And I just wondered, does that go into our budget round? Does that go through the annual plan? What's the process?
Well, it's come from the annual plan. What we have agreed in the annual plan is what's gone through to their account. David, you might want to comment on that.
Yes, that's correct. We sit at 232,000 and then there's CPI adjustments. So that's why the figures have increased slightly over those preceding years.
Right.
Are there any other questions on Tourism Bay of Plenty?
Nope.
Right. Can I have a mover and a seconder then, please? Anne Henry moved and Mark Dean seconded. I'll put that. All those in favour, please say aye. Against, no. I declare that carried. We now move to page 252, which is the Tourism Bay of Plenty half-yearly report, which is just sent to us. Are there any questions of that David may be able to answer? There appears not. Can I have a mover and a seconder for receipt of that then, please? Councillor Murray-Benge, Councillor Denia. I'll put that. All those in favour, please say aye. Against, no. I declare that carried. We have no.
Excuse me, Gary. Can I just make a comment to David after this? Yeah. I'm missing the absence of Tourism Bay of Plenty. They usually front up. So can you? Well, I don't know whether anyone else has noted that, but I've certainly noticed the absence of them in the room today.
Yeah, but they came in a couple of meetings back and presented. This is just the timing of their half-yearly reports.
Okay. Oh well, if they don't normally come to this one, that's fine. But they always we seem to see them more than we.
If I can just jump in there, we will have them lined up for the 5th of July when we have our annual speed dating. That's later than it normally is. So they will be there 5th of July there, Councillor Henry.
There are no minutes for information for receipt. So can somebody move